Hello everyone, Green Man Bookseller here. This is going to be a book review video. It's more of a booklet review video than a book review video. This little booklet here, it's an account of St John's Conduit, Bristol's medieval water system. It was put together by the Temple Local History Group, the History Society for Central Bristol. I don't know if that group exists anymore. I mean, this booklet was put together in 1984, so quite a fair few years old, no more, 40 years old, pretty much. I think it was written around about the October time. So yeah, this is on the verge of being 40 odd years old. This is a ex-Bristol City Libraries copy, withdrawn and offered for sale. So yeah, I mean, I'm a Bristolian by birth. Never actually lived there, but grew up just north of Bristol. So I've got an interest in Bristol. I mean, nowadays it's a bit not the best city, but me being a bit biased, I love the city and I'm interested in the history of the place. And I'm interested in exploring, especially underground stuff. One thing I did do on my West Country Explorer YouTube channel a little while back, a few months ago now, I went up to Bristol and explored an old water conduit, Ravenswell, which starts in Totterdown and sort of runs down from there. Originally went all the way down to the sort of Temple Meads area, but not all of that conduit system exists anymore. And I mean, this is the St John's Conduit. This is also a water conduit, and it started in the Brandon Hill area, started in the Brandon Hill area, and runs down to to Nelson Street. There's the water outlet is on St John's Church in Nelson Street, and the conduit was built by the Carmelite Friary. I think it was a Carmelite Friary, I think it was. I mean, it was built by a religious house in the 13th century to bring water down from the Brandon Hill area. And this little booklet, it looks into the sort of bit of the history of the water conduit, and it talks more about the state of the conduit now. It's quite, I don't know how well you can see it. Yeah, if I can show this. So Park Street in it. So you've got the start of the conduit near the top of Park Street. So you've got Brandon Hill over this area. Sort of runs down. You can see the state of the conduit. Now, it's only sort of this stretch of the conduit that's got tunnels that is accessible, well, that can be walked in. But I mean, sort of all along sort of this area, it's the water pipe. It's not really in tunnels that you can walk through, crawl through. And then you've got the rest of the system here. But yeah, don't know how well you can see that, guys. Ooh, yeah. And this is quite an interesting little booklet because it talks about the state of the conduit as it was in the 84, sort of the mid 80s. I mean, don't know what you can see. You've got some photos there of what it taken sort of in the tunnels below Park Street. And so it talks about a bit of the history of the water conduit and the state that it was in 84. And I mean, one thing they did in the 80s was they sort of measured the rate of the flow of water through the conduit at that time in the 80s, and there's one chapter that goes into the sort of mathematical calculations that they use to sort of calculate what the flow should be, and then they then obviously I think they used dye to measure what the flow actually was, and they could see that, and there were some discrepancies between what their calculations said the flow should be and what it was actually, and that discrepancy they were able to work out that there was possibly either some kind of a leak, or that there was or that there was possibly a cistern, like a water collection point that was unaccounted for on the maps, that was causing the discrepancy. And it's quite interesting. I mean, okay, I did skim through that particular chapter a bit, but it was quite interesting to sort of see the what I would call the nerdy bits. Sort of going into the calculations of water flow and all the rest. And then the last chapter, it's all about how the different water pipes over the centuries were made. Because obviously the first water pipe for St John's Conduit had been built in the 13th century, and over the centuries bits have had to be repaired or replaced, and obviously the bits have had to be replaced. They've been replaced with water pipes that are made to the standards of that day. So that last chapter goes into the different methods of making water pipes over the centuries, and that was quite an interesting little chapter to sort of be able to see how sort of technology sort of changed over the centuries. So I would say that this booklet is a bit of a niche interest. If you're interested in Bristol, the history of Bristol, and or you're interested in sort of medieval water systems and old water conduits, quite a good little book to have. This is an interesting book to read through. But like I said, it's a bit of a niche interest. If you've got no interest in Bristol, no interest in medieval water conduits, you ain't going to get any joy out of reading this. So, yes. I'm from an explorer's point of view, who's someone who loves exploring underground, and also being a Bristolian by birth, I found this very, very interesting indeed. So yeah, depends if you're into this kind of Venetian category. But anyway, guys, that's it for this little review. Hope you've enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, stay safe. Happy reading.